news. If you don't know already, one of the things we do 7 days a week is we produce a financial news show Monday through Monday, 365 days a year, however you want to phrase it. And this is done live, no editing, just kind of a review of what I've seen this morning. And, really do it for you, not for the YouTube algorithm. We're not trying to, trick it somehow. But yes, we're going to get started with that. A couple of things to call out. Yesterday, we did almost an hour of live Q&A. That was a good time. Go ahead and check that out. Again, just questions from you that we go ahead and we try to answer, and we really try to get down to the real question. Sometimes in comments, it's really hard for me to understand what you're looking for. So, look forward to Saturdays. That live Q&A was done yesterday. It is Sunday, so I will be doing my goals presentation here momentarily, have an 8 o'clock discussion with a subscriber. And all in all, it's just going to be a good day. One thing I have noticed on this channel is not growing like it used to. I'm not sure why that is. I think perhaps maybe we're creating too much original content. We're doing 4 or 5 videos a day. Maybe that is pushing people away. I'm not sure. Maybe we don't like the daily financial news. I'm not sure. But, it is something I think about, no doubt, but I'm still having fun. I think we are making a positive impact together, so we will just keep moving forward. So when I look at the news of the day, a couple of things jump out at me. First and foremost, I saw that the Mega Millions Lotto is $850 million. I don't play the Lotto. I think it's a tax on silliness. But when the Lotto gets this big, it is something to think about. And you want to see Jimbo, everybody? Here we go. There he is. Where'd he go? There he is. He's sleeping. Sorry. If you're new to the channel, I'm sorry for that. Everybody likes to look at my puppy. He's old, and he had me up at 3:30 this morning. Yay! Anyways, he's asleep now. So anyways, Lotto's at 850 million bucks. It's fun to think about sometimes, what would you do with all of that? Like many of you, I would put most of it into real estate. I would probably put it into big real estate. Probably 3, 4, 500 units. For me, I'd probably stay in the market I'm in. I wouldn't move out of it. But yeah, every once in a while, it's fun to think about what would you do. And again, it wouldn't be 850. It'd be more like 400 or 350 after taxes and things of that nature. But it's fun to see. Another thing that's going to happen this week is we need to realize that the administration will change Wednesday at noon. And they are already kind of calling their shot. Already seen, I don't know, notes or articles about day 1, day 2, day 3 activities. So it is, the world, I don't know, the world's going to change. Certainly our investing environment is going to change. We are going to see day 1 activity I've seen is eviction and foreclosure moratoriums being extended. Nobody has said what dates they are, but I'm going to guess. I want to say September, but I actually don't think he's going to go to September. I think he's going to probably make it March or April. And then he is going to wait to the next stimulus to take it out to September. But maybe, we shall see. So again, that's going to change. That's going to impact us in a couple of ways, right? As a real estate channel, as somebody who's looking to buy deals and has rentals. First and most, having rentals in this environment, you just got to stay on top of tenants. You got to be super picky when putting in new tenants. The other thing to realize is it's been a year. I haven't done rent increases in a year. We are now starting to do them in houses. Not apartments. Apartments are pretty soft. But we are doing them in houses. Houses are in great demand. So that is something that is happening because again we have a housing vacancy. It's full before it's turned, and at higher amounts. So we feel pretty good about raising rents in houses, not by a lot, but by something. California has rent control, so we just got to be careful of that. We don't want to lose too many years. We've already lost 12 months. That is coming. And then second, I really do think this next kind of 3 to 6 months, I think we're going to see inventory rise. And I've already started to see it at the edges. But I think small multifamilies, and it's been a while, it's been a long while since I've looked there. I think it might be something for you to add to your bag of tricks. And I'm talking small, think 2 through 10. I think there's some frustrated landlords because if you have a duplex and one tenant's not paying, you're underwater. Frankly, if you have a fourplex and one's not paying, you're underwater. So I think a lot of people have been holding on, landlords have been holding on, and they're like, I'm done. Because if you have a house, you probably can get them out and then you could clean it up and sell it owner occupied. But it's the multis, I think, are going to have some pain. So I think with these seemingly never ending extensions, we're going to go after that. The other thing I'm thinking about is banks. Do banks do banks open the spigot? Because remember what JP Morgan did early last year, like April, May? They really got tight on criteria. And then just, what is it, 3 days ago, we talked about their earnings and they released 1.9 billion in bad debt reserves back. So it flowed to their income statement. I wonder if banks are going to start to open up because I think everyone agrees that yes, there'll be an extension, but this is probably the last one. So we're almost there. It's sad to say that it might be 18 months in total duration, but we're almost there. So I'm going to be watching the banks. That is something I'm definitely going to be watching. Interest rates picked up the last couple of weeks, but where does that go? So these are all things I'm watching and watching all the time. Again, let me know about your market. I'm seeing inventory tick up slightly. I'm talking, I don't know, my searches probably are 40, 45. So it's probably 5%. Let me know what you're seeing out there. And again, we're talking affordable housing. Don't look at the entire market. I don't care about the $1 million homes. Those aren't interesting to us as a cash flow channel. So I'm thinking about that. The other thing I'm looking at is inflation or deflation. And, I am so convinced inflation is coming. I'm actually concerned, if that makes sense. Lots of times in my life, I have been very convinced one avenue is coming, and I was blind to, frankly, the opposite. That's not going to happen this time. So I'm convinced inflation is coming. I'm convinced demand pull inflation is going to do that because I follow the consumer. But I have to ask myself, what if I'm wrong? What if the American consumer, which is the driver of our economy, has fundamentally changed? I've done research about the Great Depression, and we all know our grandparents or great-grandparents. Their behavior was changed for their lifetime. Their lifetime was impacted by the Great Depression. So I have to ask myself, just to protect myself and my family, what happens if deflation takes over? What happens if the consumer doesn't shop like they used to? What happens if they save double what they used to or triple what they used to? If currency isn't flowing, isn't moving, and it stays on the sideline, that's not inflationary. Printing $1 trillion and putting it in a savings account is not inflationary. It's just not. If currency is not moving and changing hands, it is interesting. So I have to keep asking myself to look for deflation. Then I have to step back and go, okay, inflation, deflation at the consumer. What about assets? I don't think anybody with any kind of financial intelligence can't look at 2020 and say we had asset inflation. Look at the stock market. Look at Bitcoin. Look at gold, even gold. Look at real estate. Assets have gone up. Cheap money has flooded to assets. But, what happens if the punch bowl gets taken away? What happens if interest rates are forced to spike? What happens if another black swan event happens? Could we have asset deflation? What happens if money comes out of the market because of this or that? There are things I have to ask myself because I'm so convinced that inflation is coming. I just want to protect myself. And anytime you're that convinced, you should do yourself a favor and just flip the coin over and just make sure there's no internal bias, because that's been some of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. The other thing I saw is it looks like Miami. Miami is putting a full court press on tech companies, on financial institutions. They are actively looking to become a tech hub and a financial hub. And they have, a, frankly, a good shot at doing it. There's a lot going wrong with San Francisco. I believe San Francisco's in for a decade of pain. It'll be interesting to see where, basically Miami or really even the state of Florida goes. They have decent weather, although I would argue it's humid, at least part of the year. Have hurricanes, obviously. But, it's going to be interesting to see because I think what we're seeing, at least in the Silicon Valley, is we're at risk of missing a generation. The Silicon Valley, where I've lived for nearly 50 years, has always had that next generation of PhDs and master's degree coming in. So it will be interesting to see if that next generation goes somewhere else, Florida, Texas, where they go, Nashville, Tennessee as well. So that's what I got for you today. It is going to be an exciting day. Next week, things are going to change, right? Wednesday, things are going to change. And we as investors, we need to react. We need to plan for it. Frankly, complaining, bitching, being upset, not helpful, right? Doesn't help you get there. So it is time to go and say, okay, what does it mean for me? What does it mean for my market? What does it mean for my investments? What happens to inflation, deflation? Where are we going? I'm convinced that we're going to have a good 2021. We're going to buy a lot of stuff, assets, but we got to protect ourselves. So at the end of the day, have fun, take care of yourself. I'm going to do my goals and probably a community post today. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.